Let's go.
What is up, YouTube? Adolf here, bringing another Pokemon Black 2 White 2 Showdown battle. And one of the first things you probably notice is that my opponent's name is blacked out, and that's because this is a body bag video. Nobody likes to see himself get wailed on the internet, so I figured I'd be courteous and leave his name out of it. Looking at the team preview, my team stacks up really well against his, which is probably one of the things that contributed to this body bag, so without further ado, let's get on with it. I'm going to lead with my Machamp as he leads with his Fortress, and I'm thinking here that I could possibly prevent him from setting rocks up. I'm going to go for the Dynamic Punch, and he's going to get the Confusion Hacks first turn. So here I'm thinking, as I switch into my Heatran, if he gets it again, then I can probably prevent him from setting up rocks, but he doesn't. He snaps out and is able to get him up, and I don't have a spin or anything, so they're there to stay for the entire battle. And I'm going to predict him to switch out, so I set up my own rocks. Incredibly obvious. He definitely didn't want to take a Fire-type move with that Fortress, so here I'm going to switch into my Gliscor, predicting the close combat, and I run a lot of HP and defense EVs, so even if he had locked himself into the Fire-type move, I don't think it would have done all that much. Not seeing an item or anything on that Infernape, so I'm thinking it's choiced in some way. Definitely not Sash, because his Fortress is running Stealth Rock, so I think I'm pretty safe to set up the sub, and I do as he brings in the Celebi, and I'm not entirely sure what it wants to do, so I'm going to stay in and taunt. I'm slower than it, but I can prevent him from setting up any more Calm Minds. So here I'm just going to stay in, don't want to waste a sub. Just going to get a little bit of chip damage off of the Earthquake, and I'm thinking that he doesn't have anything all that much to touch my Heatran with. Running especially defensive Heatran, so I resist both of his dual stabs, and unless he's running like Hidden Power Ground, I don't know if Celebi gets Earth Power or whatever, I don't think he has all that much to do to me. So send in my Heatran here, and I'm just going to go for the safe Lava Plume just in case he did want to stay in, but he switches out to his Vaporeon. Nice play on his part. And here, my switch is really obvious, so instead of actually going and switching, I'm going to stay in and go for Toxic. Kind of a ballsy play, but it pays off. As you can see, he goes for Toxic, predicting my switch, and yeah, doesn't do anything to Heatran. I'm Steel-type, so now I'm predicting him to go for the Water-type move, probably frustrated that he wasted a turn, and I go ahead and I predict that very nicely. I bring in my Rotom Wash. This is Specs Rotom Wash, and here I'm predicting him to either switch out, or if he stays in, I figured Volt Switch would kill with Specs. But he lives with 1%, and it took me a little while to figure out what I would switch into, but I was pretty sure that if he stayed in, that he wouldn't go for the Water-type move, he would just go for the safe Toxic. So, bring in my Heatran. Yep, able to dodge the Toxic, so he brings in his Dragonite, and his Earthquake is really obvious, but I don't want to actually switch out into my Gliscor thinking that he would predict my switch. So instead of actually doing that, I'm going to stay in and go for Toxic. He goes for Waterfall, definitely predicting my Gliscor switch, so good play on my part again. I'm able to go for the Protect and do a little bit of Toxic Sawing, and I'm not seeing an item on this Dragonite either, so I'm assuming he's choiced in some way. Probably Banded, that Infernape's probably Scarfed, so thinking it's pretty safe to switch into my Rotom Wash to resist the Waterfall, so go ahead and I do that, and I'm just going to Volt Switch out. He brings in his Celebi to resist the Electric-type move, and I'm able to bring in my Heatran again, because there's nothing the Celebi can do to me, as evidenced by, you know, the little skirmish that happened before. So, gonna go for the Protect, get a little bit of Lefty's recovery, see what he wants to do. He decides to go for the Psychic. I resist that. I run Calm Nature and Max Special Defense, so I have nothing to fear from the Celebi whatsoever. Just gonna stay in and go for the Lava Plume. I get the burn, which doesn't really matter. I get a little bit more damage off on him, but he has Natural Cure, so not gonna be a long-lasting problem for him. He's going to be able to send in his Dragonite, and I predict a switch, go for the Toxic, but since he brought in this Dragonite, not going to be able to Toxic him. But here I see that I can just go for the Protect and let residual damage kill him off. He's just going to go for the Feudal Outrage and just die this turn, so woo, Heatran, go. And here my switch predicting the Focus Blast is obvious, so I'm going to stay in again. I'm doing all kinds of ballsy plays with this Heatran, and probably is making me pretty angry, but I get the burn with the Lava Plume, which definitely matters, as you'll see in a second. I'm predicting the Focus Blast here, but turns out he's running Thunderbolt, which, you know, works better because I take even less damage. I take no damage, so here I'm able to go for the Protect and let residual damage kill him off again. So same thing that happened to his Dragonite happens to his Gengar. Yeah, I'm able to go for Protect and let residual damage kill off his guys. So here I see 4%, and I'm just like, oh, come on, I forgot he was running Giga Drain. I thought I would just be able to knock that last 4% off with Earthquake, but not going to be able to. It's resisted. The Celebi is... It's faster than my Gliscor, which is running 72 speed EVs, but you'll see towards the end that I don't think he's running max speed, so he's definitely running some bulk. I'm going to bring in my Salamence. This is a Scarf Moxie-Mence, and his Fortress Switch is really obvious, so I'm just going to go for Fire Blast. Even if he had stayed in with that Celebi, it would have done a butt ton, and I don't think he could have OHKO'd me with Psychic, so... In any case, I'm going to switch out to my Machamp here, predicting the Stone Edge from this Infernape, and he's probably Scarfed, so he can't switch moves. And I'm going to be able to go for the Dynamic Punch, and his Infernape actually surprisingly survives it, but never fear. I run Bullet Punch on this Machamp, standard attacking lead Machamp, so... This is where my 6-0 goes south, though, unfortunately. He sends in his Celebi and goes to the Calm Mind, probably predicting my switch. You probably should stop predicting my switches at this point in the game. But I'm able to go for Payback, and it does a ton. And I'm thinking maybe I'd be able to kill him with Bullet Punch, but I only do 10%, so not able to kill off the Celebi. There goes my 6-0. And this is a really stupid play on my part, seeing as I saw already that his Celebi is faster than my Gliscor. He could have been running max speed, and even though I run a Naive Nature on my Cloyster, he could have outsped it, so probably should have just switched into my Salamence, but Cloyster outspeeds and is able to kill it off the Icicle Spear, so that was a body bag for you. If you guys liked that video, comment, rate, sub. I have a whole bunch of these accrued if you want to watch any more of them, so let me know. Bye, YouTube.